Tim, have we got you on there yet? Councilman Dixon. Might just be 5 of us. Quorum. Maybe he'll ring in a little bit late.
So someone's gonna speak?
Yes. Just put Holbrook.
Okay, we'll go ahead and call this to order. I'd like to call the regular city council meeting to order, 1800 hours, March 10th, 2022. First item of business is roll call. We have 4 in the chambers, Councilman Marsh, myself, Councilman Nielsen, and Councilman Kester. Councilman Wolford is on the phone. Vice Mayor Payne is excused, and Councilman Dixon's supposed to call in, but he informed us he's going to be out of town, so he may not. There's 5 of us, so we've got a quorum to conduct business. Okay, number 3, Pledge of Allegiance and Invocation. Adam, will you lead us in the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Hello.
Kenneth Clay, First Assembly of God Church.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Would you like to pray with me? If you'd like to bow your heads, let me pray. Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking for your guidance, your wisdom, your support as the leadership begins this meeting here in this place. Help them to engage in meaningful discussions, allow them to grow closer as a group, and nurture the bond of community. We ask that you bless the agenda that's set before them today. Please give an assurance of what would please you and what would benefit those who live and work in and around our beloved city of Holbrook. It is in your most blessed name, the name of Jesus, that we pray and we ask and we give you thanks and glory today. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. On to item number 4, consent agenda. Chair will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
A motion and a second.
I had one amendment. It says that I was there and I was not.
Okay.
Come on. Give me credit.
Duly noted. Any other comments or questions on it? Hearing none, all in favor? You have something? Is that you?
No, sir. Go ahead.
Okay. Tim's on now. Just let it know Councilman Dixon's on.
Who seconded that?
Earl. Mike and Earl. Okay. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
No opposed. Next item of business, number 5, call to the public for non-agenda items.
Is it considered, should put it under agenda topic?
I would go with an agenda item since it's in Cofia.
Okay, there are none.
Okay.
Door locked?
Okay. Call to the public for agenda items. Robin, go ahead and have you come up.
Okay. Mayor, City Council, and City Manager. I normally like to speak from the top of my head or from my heart, but with my emotions and everything the way they are, I feel like I would do better if I read this. What I'd like to say, there are just a few things that I would like to say. First of all, thank you for what you have done to help our family during this very difficult time. And thank you for the honor of renaming the Hidden Cove Park in my brother's name. I just want you to know that his biggest concern was to preserve and protect this beautiful sacred land. This responsibility is now left up to us. He worked tirelessly and gave of himself fully to this cause. He also protected and respected our little cemetery full-heartedly. He treated every plot in that cemetery with the same respect he did his own family members that are there. My hopes and request is that the city will continue to do all that is possible and needed to fill the void that he has now left us. Thank you all once again.
Thank you, Robin. I'm sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to item number 7, new business, discussion and possible action. 7A, golf course annual report, Steve Rutherford, if you would like to.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening, Steve.
I'm going to start out by just reading you the current conditions of our course. I don't know if I mentioned it last year in the annual report, but we had trouble getting the greens back. As a matter of fact, I lost one completely and lost parts of almost every other one. 9 was the exception. For whatever reason, it came through. So now the greens are in okay condition, but they are still rough. I expect full recovery by June or July. It just still hasn't filled in all the way from those plugs expanding and making a nice smooth surface. So it's still a little bumpy, the putts. Our clubhouse, the upstairs is still disabled. We haven't done anything with that. The restroom is slated to be remodeled here in the next month or two, and that's great because those bathrooms are old and it needs it desperately. Our cart paths are worn a bit. They need some rejuvenation, and we have plans on doing that with dragging them. I've got a drag on order now that will help us bring it in and just make it smooth. I didn't realize how much of a difference dragging them would make. However, John Guttery, my co-worker, dug out this old handmade thing and we drug it around the course and it made it just that little bit, made it so much nicer. So he has some good ideas. Disc golf. I don't know if you've all heard, but the county is getting an 18-hole. Well, I don't know if it's 18. Mm-hmm. Is it? Okay, it's 18. They're getting one. And we have one which the disc golfers love. I would love to find a volunteer, however, to really bring it up to, if we're keeping it, and I say if, because I just don't know. If we're keeping it, I'd like to have a volunteer to come out and set up signs, because the main complaint I have about the disc golf is that they can't find the next pad, or which one is this, and which way is it going. There's a lot of things we can do to make that better, and then I think we'd be at the top of the game with the disc golf. Gophers. We have been hit hard with gophers this year, and we just can't keep up. I mean, we spend hours and hours and hours setting traps in hopes of catching 2 or 3. And I have literally, I think we knocked down something like 700 mounds. If it's around 100 per, really, because they're all just bunching around. So we do what we can, but I would like to find some solution. I don't want poison. That's cost ineffective. And trapping just takes so long. I just don't know a good solution. I've heard of contractors that'll come out and do different things, and maybe I'll explore that a little further, because it really is getting out of hand. With these things, they're like rabbits. The road to the golf course. You've been on it, and you know that. So that's just, it's still the road to the golf course in pretty bad condition. Equipment that we received last year, we received a John Deere Gator, and just recently, we received that John Deere Gator. That was from last year's OK. And a fringe mower. Both of them are just beautiful. And the rest of our equipment is looking pretty good. I'm going to be asking after this report for a rough mower. And that really, when it comes to mowing equipment, we should be good for a while. Now, I will bring up in this that I would like, in the future, consideration, more equipment for maintaining the grounds, like digging equipment and trenching equipment, and the stuff is getting old, so. Vendors, you all know the difficulty now in dealing with getting parts and getting answers. Vendors, like I said, it's just difficult. And we can expect some hardships. I was told not but 2 months ago that Toro had a 3-month hold or a 3-month wait for mower blades. So things like that, it's just crazy. Some of the plans that I have for this year, and this one's iffy. This is a driving range that we've been trying to do for years, right? However, and we're going to clear the ground for it, but I'd like to see how that works out. You know, that ground right there has so much. If we can smooth it out and get it right, then we'll just continue on with it. However, the plans right now are just to clear it, level it, and see what we got, and see if it will be feasible to have a way to gather the balls once they're hit. Do we have enough yardage out? I know we have about 200 yards now. Can we get another 100, or do we put up a fence, you know, at the end of that 200 to catch the far balls? And there's just a lot of problematic things with that. I'd love to get it done. Everybody wants one. I want one. A golf course should have one. It's just nice to be able to warm up before you go out and play. I've already spoke about the restrooms in the clubhouse. That's just, it's a needed thing. I can't wait for it. Big picture wise, I just want to bring in just a big picture of the golf course, and knowing that it was built in 1977, not built, but opened in 1977. There are some aging things. This next year I'm going to develop a SWOT plan, SWOT. It's strength, weakness, opportunity, and threats to the golf course. I'll have a little whiteboard. We'll write down strengths, weaknesses as we come upon them, so that I'll have a list. Like, maybe it'll be just too long of a meeting next year. I don't know. But also, an employee, John, spoke of this, and he's great at thinking about things like this, is that we have to think about replacement trees. These trees are maturing. We should get some in the ground so that we're not left with a barren golf course. We should start thinking about, you know, planting trees all the way up, you know, just new ones, so that we'll be constantly a beautiful course. Future equipment. This is stuff not for this year, but I should start thinking about, you know, and that's things like a backhoe with a trencher on it. Not a big backhoe, something like the schools have, like that little Kubota. Yeah, that little Kubota. I mean, we have something like that, but it doesn't have a trencher, you know. It just stuff like that. I think that we should think about how old this golf course is getting, and think about things that could, you know, just keep it in the back of your head is all I'm saying. Oh, and dirt. We're going to need a lot of dirt. The golf course, with all these gopher things, they're just so uneven on the roughs, which is destroying our equipment quicker than it should be. You know, because that equipment is just shaking when you're going. So if I could get some good, clean dirt out there to fill those in, it would make stuff last longer. And last, I wanted to make mention of how much the golf course is going to miss Mike, by the way. I mean, he was there all the time to meet up with tourists to let them into the bird park or to give them a tour of the petroglyphs. And he has a nice, in the clubhouse, he has this museum in the back that he's collected. You've seen it. It has a little bit of everything. And I'd kind of like to keep that, you know, but I don't see any reason why we'd have to get rid of it. And we're here, we want to let Darlene Brinkerhoff know that any help that we can give her, we'll be happy to do that. And we're here to support her. And that's my report.
Thank you, Steve. Anybody have any questions for Mr. Rutherford? No? Okay. Moving on to item B, you might as well stay right where you're at.
Yeah, I see that.
Approval of a rough mower for the golf course. Current rough mower is beyond life expectancy, old, unreliable, and it's recommended purchase through Mojave Cooperative discount rate. Financial impact would be $34,999.87. With the current uncertainty of the world market, this price is not guaranteed. And the recommendation is to approve the purchase of a Groundmaster 3300 four-wheel drive for $34,999.87, with the understanding that the price may increase. Steve?
That's, well, you said it. The one that we're replacing was bought in 2007. And it's getting to where it's hard to lift the pan, you know, so it's constantly dragging. It's getting hard just to rely on it at all. And it's gone 3 times as much as a normal wear and tear on it. It's lasted 15 years. It's ready to go. And yeah, and you covered the rest. This other one's about $35,000, and again, it goes back to the vendor thing. They aren't guaranteeing it until time of delivery. So.
Okay. Good. Anybody have any questions, Adam?
Yeah, to potentially preempt the question that Tim will ask.
I have a question.
Are these backwards compatible? Are there parts that we can take off the old mower to keep around for this new one? Should anything?
On some of this, it is. On some parts, it is. Like on the deck, the blades, the deck. That's the only thing we would be able to take off the old one, because the other stuff is just, it's so worn out and all the holes are wallered out. You know what I mean? So that's why it's not lifting. Right. It just. I imagine some of I would look, and if they are, then I would obviously save them, or we might be better off just to get it on auction, and maybe that, you know, balance that, whether the parts are worth that, or whether we get more from the auction.
Councilman Dixon.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mayor. Steve?
Yes.
Steve, this question is for you. Where is Toro built? And what is the shipping? I don't see shipping on here.
The estimated shipping, oh, I'm sorry. Ooh. The estimated shipping? The estimated delivery estimate is 12 months. I won't get it until next year this time.
Right, I understand that. How much? Approximately how much?
The delivery is in the cost. Is that what you're asking? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Yes, the delivery's in the cost.
Okay, and then where is Toro made?
I have no idea. I don't know.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Steve.
Thanks,
That's all
Tim.
I have, Mayor.
Thank you. Any other questions for Mr. Rutherford? Okay, hearing none. Chair will entertain a motion.
I so move that we accept this bid for $34,999.87 for the rough mower.
A second.
Do we have a motion and a second?
With the understanding that that price is probably gonna go up.
Yes.
Right, yes.
Amending the motion to say that at the end of it that, there's a possibility the price could increase. Okay, call for a question, or no, did we get a,
I seconded the amended.
okay, we second the amendment, so we got a motion and a second, now, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes.
Council, Mr. Mayor, thank you.
Steve, thank you, appreciate it. Okay, moving on to 7C, ordinance 22-01, so second reading regarding real property, parcel number 403-05-235. And what this is the sale of property in Snowflake. Just to update anybody that didn't notice the second reading, so man, frog in my throat. Second reading for this, so I'll entertain a motion to approve this.
So moved.
Earl, you have a second?
Second.
You have a motion and a second. Do you have any comments or questions on this?
I just had one question. What is the price of this parcel? We should just mention that for the.
Oh, yeah, sorry. The price, the bid on that is, what is it? That didn't get it into here. I'm sorry, I think it's 6,100, is that
I
what it is?
believe that's what it was.
6,100,
5,100.
yes.
So it's well above the land value of, what, 3769?
It's above the land value price, yes, that's right.
Any other, any other comments, questions? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Councilmember Dixon,
Aye.
Councilmember Kester,
Aye.
Councilmember Marsh,
Aye.
Councilmember Nielsen,
Aye.
Councilmember Wolford,
Aye.
Mayor Young.
Aye. Motion passes. Okay, moving on to 7D, resolution 21-01 regarding renaming Odell Hidden Cove Park. Resolution 22-01, a resolution of Mayor and City Council, City of Holbrook, Navajo County, Arizona, naming Odell Hidden Cove Park, whereas Mike Odell worked for the City of Holbrook for 43 years, whereas Mike put in countless hours maintaining the Hidden Cove Park, doing trail maintenance, fence repair, and general cleanup, and whereas he continuously promoted Hidden Cove Park through words of mouth, tours, and any opportunity he could, and Hidden Cove Park would not be what it is today had it not been for Mike's years of dedicated hard work. And whereas he worked tirelessly on the protection and preservation of the Hidden Cove Park so that its natural beauty and history could be shared for generations to come. Therefore, be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the City of Holbrook, Arizona, Section 1 Hidden Cove Park is renamed Odell Hidden Cove Park. Section 2, Mayor is authorized to execute this resolution. Section 3, the City Manager is authorized to take all necessary actions to carry out the terms of this resolution. Okay. Chair will entertain a motion to approve the resolution.
Move we adopt resolution 22-01.
Second.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any comments or questions on this?
Something brief. It's Mike's birthday tomorrow. If anybody
Birthday
didn't
Eve.
know.
He celebrated his birthday eve, so
That's
this
right.
is
It's
his
his happy birthday Eve to Mike. There's not anybody in this room that's not going to think of Mike when we're out there, but this is just one small way where everybody who didn't know Mike knew of his impact out there. So, thank you.
I'd like to add this is a fitting tribute.
Councilman
I got
Kessler.
one question. Just Odell Park, not Mike Odell?
Well, let Ted explain that.
Yeah,
to you.
so all of our parks, last name, Hunt Park, Laziski Park, Lewis Park, Heward Park, none of our parks have a first and last name. So this to be consistent with how the city of Holbrook names its parks.
And just kind of on that line, Earl, and Ted has mentioned to me there's a kind of a marquee or a billboard out there at the Petroglyph Park that we really haven't used. And we're gonna order some type of monument or plaque with Mike's name on it.
Good.
Okay, so,
So it's on the online.
oh, I keep forgetting about that little black box sitting in front of me. Councilman Dixon, do you have any comment?
Just that new name is very fitting for that park. I mean, like Adam said, you know, when you go out there, you think of Mike, and he loved that park. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Wolford.
I'm glad to see this is being done to honor Mike and all the hard work and protection and preservation he's done for this site. So glad to see it being done.
Thank you, Councilman. Okay, we have a motion and a second. So resolution requires a roll call vote.
See? Councilmember Dixon,
Aye.
Councilmember Kester,
Aye.
Councilmember Marsh,
Aye.
Councilmember Nilsson,
I,
Councilmember Wolford,
Aye.
Mayor Young.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you, Robin. Appreciate you coming in. Okay. Moving on to summary of current events. As most of you have heard by now, one of our longtime firemen, actually two of our longtime firemen have passed away. Ted Smith, who I believe now still holds the record for the longest tenure on the Holbrook Fire Department. I think he was there, don't quote me on it, but I think it was around 38 years that he was on the Holbrook Volunteer Fire Department. Ted, a lot of people know him, did glass here in town, worked for the prison for quite a few years. He's gonna be missed. I spent my whole 25 years on the fire department with Ted, so grew up with him. So condolences to his family, his daughters, his wife. And the next one, a lot of people remember him. Used to work for the phone company. His name was Charlie Anderson. He was a longtime fireman as well. I was on the fire department with him. He passed away. And the last one, Roy White. Roy White worked for the assessor's office for quite a few years, and he passed away, I believe it was last month sometime. Ted Smith's funeral services will be at the Elks Lodge this Saturday at 2 p.m. Anybody interested? Moving on, I would just kind of like to touch on what I talked about last week. It was a misunderstanding, or I either misstated or the editor of the paper misheard it, but I did not accuse her of putting in the articles or the recall petition. She was not the one that put in the recall petition. Robert Black was the one that put in the recall petition. And note, he works for the newspaper as well, so he is the one that put in that the recall petition for my position. Another thing that I would like to bring up, and I mentioned mistruths in the 23rd edition, February 23rd edition of the Holbrook Tribune. It states in there that the city has experienced an unprecedented loss of jobs, with 9 vacancies at the city and 5 at the police department. Now, each one of the council members has this sheet right here. This shows clear from 2014 to present It's highlighted from 2018 because actually City Manager Soltis was not even here in 2018, he started in 2019. But the people at the police department, employees at the police department was 12.42. The .42 is part-time positions, and that was in 2018. As of 2023, present, 22, we have 14.25. Now, my challenge to the editor of the paper is, you state there are 5 vacancies. I would love to know what the vacancies are and where she obtained her information. Because to me, by putting that in the paper, telling the citizens of Holbrook that the city manager has eliminated 5 positions at the police department is an outright lie. And also one other thing I'll end with, it's the 3rd time I've been approached on the recall, and Robert Black is going around telling people that the petition is to remove the city manager. That is not the truth. The petition was taken out to remove the mayor. So anybody that's been told that it's to get rid of the city manager, you're being lied to. And I don't appreciate it. I don't mind the recall. If they want to recall me, that's completely legal. That's completely up to par. If they don't want me in here, then they can remove me. But the thing is the city manager serves at the whim of the council. The city manager cannot be recalled. The city manager is under contract, and he serves at the pleasure of the council. So anybody that has been told that the recall was to get rid of him, he cannot be recalled. Okay, other than that, I have nothing. I will move on to Councilman Marsh.
Just wish Holbrook schools a safe and happy spring break coming up. And if any young people have extra time on their hands, it is of course the windy season. Grab a plastic bag and walk on down any street and grab 10 minutes worth of trash, because there's plenty of it. And if we all literally pitch in, it sounds quaint, it sounds cliche, but it's very much true. We've seen the results of that during our community cleanups. If we all just pitch in a little bit, there is visible and measurable impact on our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Nielsen.
I just wanted to bring up that currently at the high schools playing the musical Newsies. It's well worth your time and trouble to go see. It's a musical. Kyle Gardner is the choir coach there, and it's just absolutely outstanding. It has one other. There's a performance tonight in 27 minutes, and then there's tomorrow night. That'll be the last night, but it is well worth your trouble, and our kids in our community do a great job. Also, I wanted to bring up our basketball. I meant to bring this up last week or last time, and my thoughts went elsewhere, but our basketball, both our boys and girls basketball, did outstanding this year, going to the quarterfinals, and they really deserve a hand from us and their support for what they've done. And I'm gonna miss Ted. He was a good friend to me. Put windows in my house, and he was a long time staple of our community. Thank you.
Councilman Kester.
Well, I'm gonna miss Ted too, because I've always passed him going up the street because he drove so slow. He reminds me of my father-in-law who did the same thing. I found out from my grandson who's in kindergarten, and I didn't know they had a program out there for kindergarten kids wrestling. I didn't know if Holbrook has that or not, but he's in Charlotte. 6 years old, they're having wrestling. I thought it was great. Other than that, Roy White is another one of my friends, another race car driver. We race cars together, one of his fashions. I tried and tried and tried to get him to come down to my shop and do some work on cars with me, but he just didn't do it. I'm gonna miss him. His funeral is Friday at First Baptist Church at 11, I think it is.
Thank you, Earl. Councilman Wolford.
Yeah, I have no comments tonight. If I do, I'll start coughing, so I'll keep it very short.
Get well,
Stay
Kip.
warm.
Get well, stay warm.
Thank you.
Councilman Dixon.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. My condolences to the loss of Holbrook residents, and my heart goes out to the family. And that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. City Manager.
Okay, I attended the White Mountain Regional Transportation Committee meeting, learned about various funding opportunities. Unfortunately, even with all this money that's being poured into transportation, there's still a very large shortfall. Good news, more money available, but bad news, there's still quite the shortage. And I'll keep abreast of what potential grants are that we can get for our community. As soon as the weather warms up, we'll be working on the cemetery wall. It needs to be repaired and repainted. Additionally, the mausoleum needs some stucco and marble repair and painting. So it's a little bit warmer, we'll start working on that. We are also in the process of obtaining bids for the police department roof. It's over 40 years old, it's missing shingles, so hopefully at the next council meeting I'll have some bids to get that roof redone. Work continues on the community center. Presently the restrooms are being remodeled to meet handicap standards. The kitchen will soon be repainted and the flooring will be replaced. The meeting room is finished. It's got new flooring, new lighting, new paint, new tables and chairs. So it's going to be really nice compared to the way it was. Again, our center over here across the street, it's booked all the time, and it's nice to have another option for folks. Crack sealing continues on the streets. We're in the process of obtaining bids for, or estimates at this point, for seal coating and chip sealing for the next budget year. Sufficient funds have been saved in preparation for larger projects. We didn't have any money, we now have money, so this is we're gonna be able to get some chip sealing and some sealing of our asphalt roads. As you know, they've been neglected for quite a few years, and we've been preparing for that. One of the things was our street sweeper. When we do the chip seal or the slurry seal, we'll have sand and gravel. Now that we have a street sweeper, we'll be able to sweep that up. So right now what we're looking for is kind of that magic number for how many miles of street to do. These guys are going to be coming out of Phoenix. How much is it going to be worth their while? Is it 2 miles, 6 miles, 8 miles, and what does that cost? And that's what we're trying to get together right now. As soon as we get that information together, I'll be able to put that into the budget for next year. Really excited. It's taken a long time to get to this point. Save the money up, get a sander, do crack sealing, which hasn't been done for quite some time, and just prep everything for this project. And again, next year we'll be able to start. It's really exciting. Council member Nielsen has agreed to be on the Arizona Corporation Commission Policy Task Force to discuss the fossil-based generation plant closure impact. Thank you, Councilmember Nielsen. There are 3 subgroups: funding, repurposing facilities, and ratepayer impacts. What these groups will do is they'll get together, gather information, make recommendations to the commission. And again, Councilmember Nielsen has agreed to do that, and thank you. That's great for us. I'd like to thank in advance the Holbrook Indian School. They are going to be doing community service for the city. They're pretty much going to be working on weekends, and they're going to give me a schedule of what weekends that they can come and help out, and we'll have a variety of projects that they'll be able to help with. And so it's great when we have volunteers like that. We've had volunteers in the past helped up at so they can, for example, help at the Petroglyph Park, up at the lake, clean up trash, and a variety of other projects. So thank you to the Holbrook Indian School for volunteering to give us a hand. And finally, I just want to say I did attend Mike Odell's funeral. It was attended by a lot of people. We will all miss Mike. That's all I had. Thank you.
Thank you. One other question or comment, Lisa. Have we had any other package taken out for council?
There's only been one taken out so far.
Just to kind of refresh everybody's mind, we have 3 council seats out to date. There's only been 1 taken out. How many? When do they have to have that back in? April 4th?
April 4th is, yeah.
Has to be turned back in by April 4th. So anybody interested in running for the council?
How many signatures is that, Lisa?
I think it's 25, isn't it? Yeah.
So you have to get 25 signatures to turn it in. So not that difficult, and it's quite interesting, you know, coming in here and seeing what the inner workings and seeing what's actually happening, you know, based on the truth, not based on what other people think. So there's a lot of different things that happen here, and it's quite interesting. So, and it's fulfilling, it's educating. Sometimes it's fun, sometimes it's not so fun. It is what it is. I spent 6 years on the school board, and it was the same way. You make some of them happy, and some of them you don't make happy. But that's just, everybody's got a different opinion and different personality, so that's what you deal with. So just reiterate, we still have 3 council seats available. Please come in and get a packet. Lisa can explain to you the process. We'd like to see some people get on the ballot this year. So, other than that, I have nothing else, so we will go on to item 9, submissions of written petition for items not on the agenda.
There are none.
We have none. Item 10, adjournment. Chair will entertain a motion.
I move we go eat dinner.
Motion and a second for adjournment. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Meeting's adjourned at 18:40.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, guys.
See y'all.
Get well, Kip.